Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's Peggy O'Neill. Thank you for being here today, and you will see, yes, I'm decked out for St. Patrick's Day. My sister had this t-shirt made for me a few years ago, so I honor her and the day every year with this if I remember. I remembered, and I decided just to have a little fun today and wear my St. Patty's Day t-shirt, since again my name is O'Neill. My last name is O'Neill. So got to honor the Irish that's in there somewhere. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. It is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day 2022, and today's conversation is Be a New You to experience more fulfilling relationships. And before we get to that, a reminder that in our Facebook community, Answering the Call, what we're doing is answering the call that most of us are experiencing some sort of sense of dissatisfaction, like something's a little missing, or I wish I had more love, or felt sort of different about myself and life. And that's the first call. That's because that's an invitation. When we feel dissatisfaction, just in general in our lives, then that's an invitation. And then the second is, as we answer that invitation and know who we truly are, so in the background becomes more in the foreground of who we truly are, consciousness, love, peace, happiness, and fulfillment, then we also sense that we want to know, what's my unique expression? Even if I already am fairly satisfied in my career or my job, maybe I want to make sure that I'm bringing my unique touch to this. So that's what we're always doing here. Welcome, and I see people already saying hi. Thank you so much, Sharon. Oh, trying to get the sound. Okay, good. It's working, and she's here. Thank you, Sharon. So glad that you're here. And if you are here, please say hi, like Sharon did. And if you're watching this on replay, please put in #replay. I love knowing you were here, and I'll say hi back. And also, if you have any questions now or as you're watching the replay, please post your questions and comments, and I will answer them or talk about them. So please do that. Okay, great. Tamara is here. Sue is here. Wonderful. Hi, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you missed that part, my sister had this t-shirt made for me a few years ago. O'Neill, got it. Patrick's, Irish, somewhere in there. We're kind of a mutt in my family, but it's somewhere in there. And so I just had to do it. I let that conversation win. I was discussing, should I look professional today or wear this? I wore this. All right. I'm sure that you'll be fine with that. So again, today what we're talking about is be a new you to experience more fulfilling relationships. So we're going to, actually, this is going to be somewhat experiential today. Occasionally we do that. We will do that most of today. And you're going to learn 3 shifts that you can make immediately, starting right now, to experience more fulfilling relationships. And so there are some benefits, and I'm going to name 3 benefits to actually making these shifts. And of course, the background of it all is to embrace that we're all one, that there's only one being. So that's the new you that you're taking on, instead of staying with what we've been conditioned to believe, that we're separate. To make the shift, whether you quite integrate it yet or not, but to go, I'm getting this. We're one being. So that's the first shift. That's the new you. I'm one being. We've talked about that a lot, so that's about all the time I'm going to spend on that in that way today. So the benefits are, you're going to feel closer, almost immediately feel closer to other people and have a different way of relating, because you'll shift perspective. If say I live in Allen, Texas, if I wanted to walk to New York City and if I was 1 degree off, I would make it to New York City, the path. If I said, okay, I'm going to New York City, but if I'm 1 degree off, I will not be in New York City. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be way off between here and there. So a minor shift can make a world of difference. But it's a different way of relating, starts with minor shifts, probably. You're going to feel more empowered, if I am the universe, then I can be in relationship in the way that aligns with who I truly am. I don't have to be at the mercy of my emotions or thoughts or other people. I can be what aligns with who I am. And and then just more relaxed. I mean, I've been coaching, as you know, for over 30 years, and so I've learned a lot about how to be more effective in relationships, be better at conversations. All that's fine, and, but the idea was, and then you'll have the relationships that you want. They'll work better that way. And today I'm offering that we don't really have to learn anything, and I'll recapture that at the end, or that's the third item here, the third shift. So a benefit of what we're doing today is that you're just going to be more relaxed in relationships. Yes, it may take a while for today to feel more natural to you what you learned today and start engaging in, but that's what'll also happen. You'll be more relaxed because you don't have to learn a lot of skills because you're already there. All right, so let's look. Let's see. All right. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Sharon likes my shirt. Okay, so the 3 shifts to make immediately are, again, to embrace that we're not separate. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. You're not separate, which also means that you really realize that we're a shared being. You really start letting it sink in, and we'll work with that today some, that you're my heart and I'm your lung. You're my left foot, I'm your right hand. And if we can let that really integrate into our being, it starts shifting, because we want all parts to work well, right? It's one whole, one being. In fact, our bodies are made up of trillions of cells that have all figured out, for the most part, how to get along pretty darn well. Well, that's just a model for what the universe is. We're actually one being, and we're naturally made, so to speak. I don't know if that's the best language, but we're naturally supposed to get along. I mean, just like our body is one being. We're one being. We're meant to get along. And as I already said too, you don't have to learn anything. We're already there, but we're going to go into more detail on all of those. Okay, so the first one, that we're not separate. So if you're not driving and would like to engage with this, then I encourage you to close your eyes. Just gently close your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes, if you look on the floor, look out a few feet out on the floor, so that you're not looking at me. Let me see if you can focus your attention on what I'm going to encourage you to focus it on. Okay, so close your eyes, and now imagine an ocean. Just bring to your imagination an ocean, big, vast ocean, and all you see is the water of the ocean. And now imagine yourself arising out of the ocean. You're still in the ocean, so like your feet don't come out of the ocean. So you're one with the ocean, but imagine your being in the way your body looks, that you're arising out of the ocean. Imagine that. But stay connected to the ocean. Don't take yourself out of the ocean. So that you're one with the ocean, but imagine your being is arising. And now look in some direction in front of you, right, left, whatever comes naturally to you. Look in some direction and see who appears or arises from the ocean, just as you did. Allow some other human being for today. Let some human being appear or arise from the ocean. And just as you, they're still like attached to the ocean. Notice who appears. And now look down at where your feet are still in the ocean. Look at your feet. Let it sink in that you're one with the ocean. Feet are attached to the ocean. And then look across the ocean to that other person and see the same thing. They're not detached from the ocean either. Notice as you look down and across, you're connected. There's no separation. That ocean, that field, is both of you. You both arose out of the same stuff. In this case, the ocean. You're not separate like waves. But right now you're seeing yourself and this other person. And also notice you and the other person are not finite. You're not limited. You are connected to incorrect language, but using it for our purposes today, that you're one with this ocean. And you're both, you put a drop of food coloring, or maybe a pail of food coloring into the ocean, eventually some of that's going to go to that other person. You're connected. You're one. There's no separation. And now allow the other person to go wherever they want to go. And you go ahead and step out of the ocean for now. And in our experience, it seems like we're not the ocean or the one field. But the only reason it seems like that is because we've been conditioned to see separation instead of to see the one being. We don't see the ocean. We only see what seems to be separate from the ocean as you looked at the two of you. But it's merely an interpretation of perceptions that causes us to think we're separate. So now you've stepped out of the ocean. If you've gotten a little wet, dry your feet, and then when you're ready, open your eyes. So that's the first shift, is to allow yourself to experience and to know that you're one with all that is, just as this other person or any person is. And there's no separation. Okay, so now we'll look to the second shift to make. And I already alluded to it, but we'll expand a little bit. And what I said before is that, let's say you're my heart and I'm your lung, that sort of thing. So I want you now to look down at your foot. Just look at your foot. And kind of like another person in your life, but that's your foot, because if I'm your lung and you're my heart, same thing. That foot could represent another person, but let's say for now that you're just looking at it and you realize that foot is you. Now if you were angry at that foot, would you sit there and just start beating on it? Like, I'm going to beat on that foot. I'm just all mad at my foot. I'm going to beat on that foot. No. No. If your foot's hurting, what are you going to do? You're going to maybe take care of it. You're going to find out what's wrong with it. Now, I'm not talking about the psychological components with another human being. Don't do that with another human being. But what would happen is that you'd be curious, or you'd be knowing that there's something there to tend to. So it's that sort of relationship that we can bring to other people. When we see another person, we can remind ourselves But even though I'm getting annoyed with that person, like I might with my foot, if I stepped on something and there's a piece of glass in it or something, I might go, oh God, but I'm not going to be upset with my foot. I'm going to do what I can to keep my foot and my relationship with my foot intact. But what we do is, as human beings, we bring our judgments, opinions, assessments, our rights and wrongs, but that's all separation. And we can remember that, oh wait, my foot is me. There's no separation here. So this other person is like another foot or hand or heart. And to start having that kind of relationship, like I said earlier about the whole, like our bodies, they look very different, right? Our heart looks very different from our foot. Our lung looks very different from our brain. So we can start judging and assessing, well, they're different, that's different, it acts different, it performs different. Sometimes it doesn't perform as well. Sometimes we need, tune-up or something to help our bodies. Sorry, shouldn't have used a mechanical reference, but sometimes we need some better nurturing for our bodies to feel more aligned and better and so on. So if we can think of it that way, and then in that space, in that context, in that experience, then allow what comes to you to inform how to be with that person. And yes, it can take some practice, some working at it, remembering, because we're so conditioned with everything else, all the judgments, assessments. They shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't be this way. I'm wrong. They're wrong. Something's off here. And so, wait a minute. Wait. They're my heart. I'm their lung. Okay. A little out of sync here. Now, who do I want to be for this heart? How can I open to this heart, listen to this heart, and trust as you continue to be with this, that you will have some ideas, some knowings of how to be in relationship with this person. Okay, so that's number 2. So number 1, we're not separate like the ocean. Number 2, we're each other's body parts, so to speak. Now number 3, the third shift to make is that we don't have to learn anything. We're so prone to, okay, I need to read another book, I need to take another course. Now, if we're called to do that, if we're like, oh, I don't really want to learn about that, about love, or learn about, conversation, when we're already knowing everything I'm saying today, that's great. But if we're taking a course or reading a book to try to get better, to have the relationship work, then we might want to remember what we're talking about today. Come here first. Because we already know how to get along with other people. How do we know that? Our body gets along. Yes, occasionally it's off a little bit, okay. But our body also, as soon as we have a cut on our body takes over to try to heal it. As soon as we have a cut on our body, the body takes over to try to heal it. It knows how to heal, which means we know how to be in relationship. It's just been learned out of us, so to speak. We have unlearning to do. Yes, this is an unlearning conversation. A lot of it is unlearning because we've learned behaviors that keep us separate. And so we have to unlearn them, which makes it feel uncomfortable, awkward, like it's new and different. It is, but we naturally love another being. Maybe, I don't mean love in the romantic sense, but love in all you have to do is think of a baby. As soon as you see a baby, for the most part, or maybe it's a puppy, maybe it's a flower, but for a lot of us, as soon as we see a baby, our hearts just melt, and we're like, oh, how cute and sweet. That's really our natural experience for each other. Some version of that. So if we can allow ourselves to move into that experience, which is what we've done before, where am I aware that I'm aware? Just go to that space. Go to that space, and remember, that's where the love is. I mean, that's who I am. That's always there. It might seem like it's hidden. It might seem like I have to work at it. And so for a while, I'm learning. We're taking veils off, which are beliefs and habits and emotions, and remembering who we are. and remembering who the other person is. They're a divine being too. And so what we do then is remember, I don't have to learn anything, and I already love this person. Even if I don't feel like it right now, I already do. Naturally, I do, because we're all one being. We're all love, peace, and happiness and fulfillment. So remind ourselves, I just need to unlearn these senses I have and these thoughts and beliefs with this other person. And so what you do is you remove attention. Take your attention away from all your thoughts and emotions. You've heard me tell the story about my working with my mom, but I'll tell it again because there are probably some new people watching these videos now. But the brief version is, this is before I understood what we're talking about today. But when the universe heard my desire at the time was, I'm going to love my mom, because I didn't, and I wanted to love her. And so somehow it came to me to do exactly what we're talking today, with one thing that was kind of off, although it still worked at the time because I fell in love with her. But what I did is I removed all of my attention from my thoughts and removed all of my attention from my emotion, and I focused on love. And so what I did at the time, because I didn't know my essential nature was love, I would just focus to try to get myself to feel love. So it was something I was trying to manufacture, this love. But now I know all I would have had to have done if I'd understood what I understood now. Same thing, take my attention off my thoughts, the attention off my emotions, and relax back into the love that I am. And that takes some practice, if you will, too, to sit with that experience over and over and over again, so it's more natural and easier to relax into. Because that takes some time, again, removing, unlearning, to more easily relax into that knowing, that experience of who I truly am. But the universe brought that to me, to let everything go, but seeing my mom and myself as this one being, already loving her. So it's taking the attention off those things that want to pull us away from that, and relaxing into who I truly am. And so out of all that, you can see, that we're not powerless at all in our relationships. All of this is available to us to, in any moment, shift. Now, I say that, and it takes time for you to get there quickly. There are no quick fixes, no magic pills. I am very sorry to tell you that. But this is how we do it. And sometimes it's easier than other times. That's fine. That's fine. So it takes as long as it takes. Because if you're here, you're answering the call to live as who you truly are. And this is part of it. And it is kind of fun because when we work this way, like unlearn all these things, and we don't have to learn all these practices and other things to do. I'm calling these practices because I don't know another word for them. You have to do them regularly, but you don't want to do it like a practice, because then you're doing it to try to get somewhere again. So it's by practice, I just mean it's something you want to do regularly, so it becomes more natural, more of a habit. Now I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, no. Anyway. So the 3 shifts again. We're not separate. We're really each other's. It takes both of us, all of us, to live as the one being that we are. We want all of us working well, integrating with each other, living well together. And we don't have to learn anything. We already are this loving being, as is the other person. So what questions do you have? Comments? Anything you want to know? All right, and if you think of any questions or comments after this, then please post them. I will come back and answer them. Let's see. So that's it. I'll wait another few seconds to see if anybody pops up with a question, comment. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Oh, here we go. Sharon. You first have to be aware of the thoughts and feelings that are the veils. Each time you do that, you become more of the love you want to be. Yes. Yeah, that's so true. And I appreciate you bringing that up too, um, because a lot of us, when we first start what we're talking about here, aren't really even aware of our thoughts and our feelings. So thank you, Sharon, for that reminder. So that might even be the first step for you. If you haven't really paid much attention to your thoughts, start noticing your thoughts. Just do that for a while so that you can then realize that you don't have to think what you're thinking. We've been trained to think that we're supposed to believe what we think, but our thoughts are just automatic, automatic, automatic. I think it's like some people say we have 60,000 thoughts a day, and some people say, like, almost all those thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday. So it's just automatic. And so to become aware of those thoughts, and it'll feel unnatural to not let ourselves think them, to say, wait, I don't need to think that. I don't need to think that. Because we're so conditioned to think that and believe whatever the thought is, and to think that we're supposed to believe that. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, it was like, say what's on your mind. Worst thing for anybody to ever ask, and then the worst thing for us to ever respond to. Most of the time, we don't want to say what's on our mind. We want to be thoughtful about what aligns with who I truly am and who I want to be with this other person. And then be aware of feelings, because our feelings will take us over, and it takes some getting used to not let our feelings. So so again, thank you, Sharon, for reminding me. When I first started doing this with my mom, being this way with my mom, it felt like wearing a straitjacket. I'm not kidding. I mean, I've never really worn a straitjacket, but I felt almost trapped because I wasn't going to think what I was thinking or feel what I was feeling. I was going to focus on love, or in this case, now that we know what we know, focus on my essential nature. And at the beginning, you might have to do it the way I did it. I'm going to focus on love, because it's not natural yet for you to do what's natural, to be what's natural, your essential nature. And it was so uncomfortable, because it was my natural state was to be frustrated with my mom. So just know that it can feel like you're trapped almost, because you're not letting yourself do what your conditioned mind is saying to do, because that doesn't align. If it doesn't align with who you say you are and the stand you are for who you are, love, peace, and happiness. So yes, and there are the veils, and then yes, and every time, they lose the hold. They lose the hold. They lose the hold, because you're not feeding them by engaging them, or not feeding them by fretting over them or worrying about them. So all of that, if we react consistently with that, it feeds them. It's like the hungry dogs. You gave them some meat. Oh, great, we're coming back. So the same thing with our thoughts and our emotions. So every time that you don't let your thoughts and emotions govern your next actions and feelings, then it loses some power. It loses some power. And then tomorrow, would you go over how your body reacts when something is off? I couldn't really hear the word you were using. Oh, let's see. How would I? Was it straitjacket? I don't think that's what you're talking about. Would you go over how your body reacts when something is off? I couldn't really hear the word you were using. Something is off. How my body reacts. Well, I don't know what I said. Sorry for that. But how we know we're out of alignment is if we're not experiencing peace and happiness and fulfillment. Now, that being said, even as we become more established in our essential nature, doesn't mean we always feel good. Doesn't mean we always feel good. So I can be kind of bothered by something and still feel in the background the peace and the happiness that I am. And then do everything we just said about whatever I'm bothered by. Take my attention away from that. Take my attention away from that. So over time, the more you're with these teachings and embody them, then you'll notice that too. You'll notice in the background is the peace and the happiness, and in the foreground is maybe the frustration or annoyance. Where in the past, we only noticed the frustration and the annoyance. We only noticed the drama in our life, the shiny objects in our life. So that's what will happen over time. But it doesn't mean we'll always feel love, peace, and happiness. But we can feel that in the background more and more and more. And then it permeates our actions more readily. Sometimes we have to stop and realign. So when we're out of alignment, we're feeling something other than love, peace, and happiness. So does that answer you, Tamara, do you think? Because I don't know what word I might have used. I'm looking to, remove attention maybe? Remove, that would be, I don't know. Okay. Well, if you want more, okay. Okay, I think that's it, whatever I said. Okay, good. Well, if you think about it some more and have another question, obviously just post the question and I will answer it. All right, thank you everybody for being here today, and happy St. Patrick's Day again, and I wish you all wonderful relationships. So today we were talking about be a new you to experience more fulfilling relationships. So I promise you, as you continue to embrace this, your relationships will be much more fulfilling for you and for the other person or people. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I see. Tomorrow. Yeah. Your body feels out of alignment. You just feel it. I'm feeling just, frustrated, or you just don't feel that peace or that centeredness, that contentment. You can put all of that into the word contentment. Just that kind of, I'm at home. I used to call it years ago that home feeling. Just comfortable here. So if I'm not, now again, I can feel like right now I can feel it a little bit, because, sometimes when I'm doing this I get a little stressed, on the spot, but I can feel the contentment in the background with a little bit of like, I hope this is going over okay. There's a little bit of that there. So I'm not totally established in my essential nature, but I can feel the calmness in the background, and that's not predominant. Okay, thank you, Sharon. Happy St. Pat's Day. Green looks good on me. Thank you. And thanks for the shamrock. All right. Lucky St. Patrick's Day to you. Bye.